Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Koala and I am a shamanic practitioner. I mainly practice the Nordic shamanism practices, but I'm also initiated into Nustakarpai and the Munaki rites. And today I'm gonna talk about my celebration of the spring equinox. The equinox has been. I'm gonna continue the conversation that I started when I shared my part 1 in a shorter video a while back, and I had hopes to be able to be outdoors when I did this, but it's not possible at the moment, so here I am. And yeah, so I'm gonna talk about my ceremony with Eir that was in the focus of my spring equinox celebration. So for the spring equinox, there are a few practices I do during the beginning of spring and with the culmination of the spring equinox, I would say, or like at this moment, it's the culmination is around now. Today when I am recording this, it's a dark moon, and it's Friday in this dark moon, and tomorrow it's Saturday and it's new moon. And normally my focus for the spring equinox is new beginnings and to plant seeds for the rest of the year. But this year is a bit different. This year I felt more called to release, keep releasing, because last year during the early spring I set intentions for 2 years ahead. So I'm kind of in the middle of all of that work with myself and together with the cosmos to align myself and my path forward. And I have recently gone through surgery, and I am currently recovering from that surgery, and I am releasing a lot of stuff mentally and from my past that I need to release to be able to move forward into the new stage of my life. So that's kind of why there's another focus for me this year, because I'm so used to planting seeds in this season, and it felt a bit off to not be able to do that, but it really didn't feel right for me at this time. So the focus for this year has been healing and the healing journey I'm on, and to release everything that I need to leave behind. It's like I have reached a crossroads, or like a knot in the web of life, and to jump over that and reach the next stage I need to really leave some things behind. So that's what I'm doing right now. So that's what I mean when I say that the culmination is now rather than the spring equinox, because this is the dark moon, and I feel somewhat of a culmination of letting go of the old. And then during April, the next moon cycle, I'm going to start planning things from, collecting myself, and still recovering and healing, but collecting myself. And then I'm gonna maybe plant some new seeds and work with them in May. So if I go back to the ceremony that I held this year, so I just want to interject here that another practice I do during this time of year is to greet all of the nature spirits, and that is to waking up together with the ground and the nature when the ice and the snow disappears and warmer winds are coming. I did that in the middle towards the end of February together with a friend. We held a ceremony for that called Disa Blot. So I've already done that, and I didn't really think about it at the time. I just felt very called to do it at that time and to celebrate it in that way. And it was when the spring equinox approached that I was like, well, I've already done that. So I've already done that, which I usually do on the spring equinox morning. And I'm not gonna plant new seeds, so what am I gonna do? But I knew what I was gonna do because I had felt called to celebrate together with Eir, the goddess of healing and healing herbs, etc. So I am, since the spring equinox, I am walking with her. That's what I call it. When I welcome a goddess into my life, into my heart, mind, body, soul, spirit, whatever, all of it, and I spend time with her for most often a moon cycle. And so my term is I walk with the goddess during that time. So I'm walking with A right now. So I promised I was gonna go a little more in depth with what the ceremony was, because during that short 4-minute video I just talked about her main messages to me. So this was a ceremony that I had invited anyone who wanted to join me for not for a cost, but not that high of a cost. My goddess ceremonies that are unfortunately for you watching my English videos, for now and up until now they've always been in Swedish. So it's not really, it hasn't really been available for you at all. I don't know what the future brings, but the price has been 111 Swedish crowns, which the only thing I can translate it into is about 8 or 9 pounds or 10 euros, I think, in today's currency. Yeah, so it's not that costly. I don't think. So anyway, I invited anyone who wanted to join me, and I have a few people that have been with me through almost all of my goddess ceremonies for the last year or two, because I have done these ceremonies. This is the second year that I do these ceremonies. So when a goddess is calling me, I do have like a schedule for it, like a wheel of the year kind of schedule with the different goddesses. But there are times like now that the goddesses call on me when it's not really the normal time for me to work with them. So usually for the spring equinox I work with Idun. She's the goddess of rejuvenation and forever young. I don't know the term for that in English, but she's known for being the carrier of the apples, and the one who grows the apples of youth, of eternal youth, that she brings to the Aesir and to all the gods and goddesses in the Nordic mythology and tradition, that keeps them young. So she's that kind of goddess. That is the goddess I usually honor this time of year, but as I said, this year Eir was calling me. So I invited people to join me for this ceremony, and the ceremony, what we do during the ceremony is like this. I open a sacred space and I invite the goddess into that space. Everyone that joins me are tasked with bringing some symbol into the circle, into the ceremony that makes them think of Eir. So whatever they know or don't know, or whatever they find out about Eir beforehand, including the information that I send out when I invite people, the information I share on my Swedish social media, etc. So they use that information and their own sense of that goddess and find a symbol of the goddess to bring into the circle, and that is a way to kind of align yourself with the energies of the goddess in question, so that we align ourselves with her in looking for the symbol of her and connecting with her while doing so. So the symbol can be very different from person to person, and that's perfectly fine. But most often it isn't. Most often there are commonalities, because all the goddesses have their traits and their maybe something they're known for, like eating with their apples. And this year, Eir, we connected her with a certain rune, which is Eo or Ewas, and we all brought that into the circle among other things, which was very, very interesting to me, and nothing I had shared beforehand. So most often we are on the same page, everyone that joins the ceremony. And then of course she is the goddess of herbs and herbal medicine, etc. So I encouraged the participants in the ceremony to bring a cup of herbal tea of their choosing into the ceremony, both as an offering to the goddess, but also sharing with the goddess yourself. And this is done via video call, so everyone joins in remotely. So we don't share a physical space, but it always works out very, very well. So when I've opened the sacred space, I talk a little bit about Eir and about the ceremony that we're gonna do, and if there are new people in the circle, so people that haven't been in any ceremonies before and don't know each other, as soon as there's someone new, we share a little bit about ourselves and the journey that we are on, our life's journey, and the shamanic path that we're on. So when we have done that, so we have aligned ourselves and connected with the goddess and with each other, so that we are one together in the circle. In the ceremony, we go into deep meditation. So when I opened Sacred Space, I invited the goddess to join us, and what I do is I invite her to join us here and now. So wherever the current goddess is from. So Eir is, she dwells, in nature, and she's a part of nature, so she's a part of our realm, but also the non-ordinary realms. But she's a part of the middle world, you can say. So she's not from anywhere else. There are goddesses that are from above and below in other ceremonies, and the point of inviting her into the goddesses into our circle is so that we don't have to go anywhere low, like down or up, to connect with them, which means that these kind of ceremonies are very beginner friendly. And if someone asks me, oh, I want to start working with the goddess of Freya, or the goddess of or maybe a god Odin, or whatever, or whoever, my first tip is always to open a sacred space, invite that god or goddess into a circle, into your space, maybe light a candle as a symbol and have something else as a symbol, and then have quite a lightweight ceremony with maybe use some kind of medium between you and the god or goddess when you first encounter. Maybe do like a tarot spread or rune spread or something else that keeps you in the here and now, but you can still commune with the goddess, god or entity that of your choosing. And the point of opening a sacred space is also that when you are finished, you say, thank you very much, thank you for joining me, and you send whoever back to where they came from. So that's a very nice way to kind of orchestrate a first encounter with a god or goddess, or a second or third. So that is my preferred way when I celebrate with other people, and also my preferred way if I'm just honoring and celebrating, like at one of these yearly ceremonies, like the spring equinox or whatever. So that's what we do, and we go into what we do. We don't work with. Sometimes I bring runes into it, depending on what the god or goddess is represents or symbolizes, and what the energies that they are emanating into in the circle and sharing with us. So something I always do in these kind of ceremonies are I guide all the participants into a meditation where we go into the middle world. So we go beyond the veil into the middle world, and we meet the god or goddess in that space, and then we see where that takes us. So we have the purpose of getting to know and honor the goddess, in this case Eir, and we have also the intention of maybe, like in this case, the keyword for the ceremony was healing. So we bring that also with us, that intention into the ceremony, into the meditation. So in this meditation we received Eir's healing and her wisdom and guidance in our own healing path and on our own way forward. So I have already talked in the first video more about the messages for me were in that ceremony, and what she reminded me of. And I am really looking forward to walking with her for the next moon cycle, because of the surgery I've had. I am now entering a time after my surgery where I can actually soon start using herbs and other things again, and listen to my intuition. And what Eir was really adamant to remind me of was that I should have more faith and trust in my own intuition. So even when I feel like some things, because sometimes I feel like I want to work with a certain aspect or a certain tool, like herbs, but I feel like no, it's not the right time. And she reminded me that is actually my intuition speaking. It's not me that is hesitating because of other factors that on other levels. So it is my intuition talking, and that I should listen to my body and listen to my mind and listen to myself, and with doing that I'm listening to Eir. So when we meet Eir in the meditation, and we gain the wisdom and knowledge. And if you don't know how to do this, because one of my greatest gifts in life is the ability to guide people through meditation, through journeys, and to be present. So during almost every meditation and journey I guide people through, I know where people are. I know who is almost falling asleep. People fall asleep to my voice, I don't know. But I am aware of that. I am connected to everyone in the circle, and I know who's almost falling asleep. I know who's becoming maybe impatient, and it's one of my greatest gifts to be able to follow people into journeys and meditation in that aspect, and at the same time also experience some things myself. Depending on the purpose of the ceremony. So this type of ceremony, a celebratory ceremony, I also experience, like I meet Eir as well and gain knowledge and wisdom from my life, as well as holding the space for other people. But there are also other types of ceremonies where I only hold space and guide people through, more of like healing work or shadow work, or like deeper work where it's the complete focus is on them. And there are also ceremonies where I guide people and we work together. Like I have hold what is called rune magic ceremonies, or shamanic ceremonies in the Nordic tradition, with rune magic as the tool, where we use Seder to accomplish things together. So the focus is not on me, it's not on any of the participants, it's on a common subject or object, or a common, yes, we have a common intention that we are trying to solve or heal or whatever that has nothing to do with us individually, but we have a common enemy or whatever you want to call it, depending on whatever it is we are focusing on. So and in that regard, I guide everyone in the circle, and we and make sure that everyone knows what they're doing and how to do it and where to do it, etc. And we do it together, and then I guide everyone out of it, grounding everyone and making everyone feel comfortable. So there are different types of ceremonies. So in these honoring ceremonies with Eir, the focus is on each and every one of us and gaining mainly wisdom and guidance. Sometimes healing as well, depending on the god or goddess, depending on how many people there are in the circle, etc. So it's always for the highest good of all participants. That's my experience so far. So when we come out of meditative state, I ground everyone, make sure that everyone is awake, that everyone is here and now, and then we have a small break where everyone shuts their microphones off and all the cameras if they want to. All participants just need to, say something or wave to me so I know that they are awake and grounded. And then we take a small break for about 10 minutes, and everyone gets a chance to write down anything that they want to write down in a magical journal or a grimoire or whatever you want to call it. So, because everything tends to disappear. When we close the circle, all of a sudden half of the experiences might be out of sight, out of mind. So it's important to get those minutes right after you come back and write down everything. And it's also a way of grounding yourself, of taking the pen and putting it on paper and writing it down and connecting your mind to your body and to your mind and soul to your body. So connecting all of those things. It's a great way to come back to the here and now. And then we, when we come back from that, we share how much and how little we want to share. So that's my motto in that space. Is like when I say, let's say someone's name is Sophie. I'm like, okay, Sophie, you go first. Share whatever, how much or how little you want. If you don't want to share anything, that's perfectly fine, because sometimes people need to absorb it and integrate it before sharing, and sometimes it's way too personal to share, and that's fine. My aim is for everyone to feel safe in the space that I hold, so that everyone is safe enough to know that what's said in the circle stays in the circle, and safe enough with me to share. So everyone gets their time to share if they want to, and how much do they want to. And I end with myself, so I'm the last one to share, unless everyone is new and I take the lead and share first, so that people know, like, what can I share and how much can I share. So I set the tone for that. And then when everyone has done that, I ask if there is anyone that wants to maybe say something more, because sometimes it's one person's turn, and then when the person 3 is talking, the first one realizes they have something more to say, but instead of talking at the same time, I then go back and ask if there's anyone that wants to add anything before we close the space. And then we do that. We close the sacred space and we thank the goddess. And most often during the meditative journey, we're able to choose if we want to invite the goddess to walk with us, or if we want to say goodbye. Because sometimes if you're new to celebrating any type of yearly ceremony or honoring a goddess, or even working with a rune, you might feel like it was enough. It was enough for now. You need to just sleep on it, integrate it, and then maybe do it again in your own time, in your own way, now that you know what you're gonna do and how you do it. So it's very important for me that everyone gets to choose. Some goddesses are like, I'm not staying around. I'm not sticking around. I'm leaving you. Bye bye. Cheerios. My experience though is that most goddesses and gods are willing to hang around if we want them to, and this is also something that makes it important to invite them to our space instead of going to theirs. So when I do hold ceremonies where we dig deeper. So if, for instance, I have had like the same people now joining me in these types of ceremonies for a couple of years. So when we work together, we can go deeper. We can work more. We're more highly connected to each other. We can do shamanic journeying as a next step together. But as soon as there's someone new, I make sure that it's tempered to all the individuals that are present, and my like what's my status quo when I enter, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know the word I'm looking for, but what I mean to say is that it's like a bonus for the people that have been there, been with me for a long time, if we go deeper, because the purpose is always just to honor the goddess that we're working with, and that's the main thing. So when we work with, for instance, Aid, we honor her, we bring gifts to her, so we almost always have something in the circle that we can give in return for the knowledge and wisdom that we are receiving, and that's important. So that's kind of how we celebrated, or how I celebrated Eir together with some people this year. So my next goddess ceremony will probably hopefully be around Valborg, as we say in Swedish, but I think the most common name for it is the German word Walpurgisnacht. So Walpurgisnacht, or Valborg, is on the last of April, and I celebrate Freya's Bål, which is the bonfire of Freya, on May 1st. So that's when I start. That's when I say thank you very much, Aid, for the time that we have spent together. I will see you next time. And I open a sacred space and welcome Freya to join me. So yeah, that's kind of how my celebration went this year, because I was kind of restricted from, I couldn't be outdoors and hold the ceremony in nature. There was so much I couldn't do because of my surgery, because it was just 2 weeks after my surgery. So it wasn't as big of a celebration as usual. I'm hoping to be able to celebrate the bonfire. Is that the right word? The bonfire or fire of Freya on May 1st in a bigger way. So let's, as we say in Sweden, hold our thumb for that. I think in English we say cross your fingers. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share. So in the picture, on like when you saw this video, there was a picture. And that was how my altar looked for this ceremony. So I had my little lantern in the middle or in the corner that was lit with a candle, and then I had some runes that I had a rune for Eir, which is Eo or Ewas, in the middle, and then I had runes that I connect with healing and connect with Eir through healing work around there. So all the runes I connect with healing. And then I also had in the meditation, when I met Eir towards the end, she gave me like a ball of energy that was green and blue, and when I received it and held it, it was this. So it was a crystal that I already own, that she gave me, and she was like, walk with this when you walk with me. So this is both a symbol of her for this moon cycle that I'm walking with her, but it's also I also brought it forth in the ceremony, and it's charged with the healing that she gave me. So I have this to kind of boost me or reboot me through this time. So it was really amazing. That happens to me a lot, that in ceremony, gods, goddesses, or my highest guides bring me something that I already have, that I didn't know how to use or when to use it. It can be an herb, it can be a crystal, it can be even be a rune at times, or it can be something miscellaneous. Something that I was like, oh. And this time it was this. Because I had been looking forward to start working with herbs again. But I knew I couldn't because I wasn't there yet. I'm not there yet. It's a week still until I can start working safely with herbs again after my surgery. So it was really amazing to get this and get charged with energies of aid. So that I had something, concrete to work with together with her. It feels wonderful. And of course, I can still work with her daily, weekly, through meditation. I can continue to work with her. I can draw runes and ask specific things or whatever. It's personal how you choose to work with the goddesses that you work with. So this was my part 2, my spring equinox part 2. That I had hoped to be able to be outdoors to talk about, but I was outdoors earlier today and there was just too much noise. In the early spring, when the sun is shining, it's warm enough so you can be still for a moment or two outside, but there are no leaves on the trees, so every noise is just multiplied, intensified, and you're like, it's so noisy. And I wasn't sure how much of that was gonna come through, and I didn't want to ruin the video. I didn't want to sit there and talk for 30 minutes and then watch it later and be like, oh, no one can hear me because there's so much noise. So that's why I decided to do this indoors. So better luck next time, right? So yeah, let me know in the comments if you want to work with the goddesses. If there is a specific Nordic goddess that you are interested in, maybe I can share when the best time for that is, or just share in the comments about the goddesses that you work with, the goddesses that you know of. If you feel inspired by how I work with the goddesses, and you can also ask questions, any questions, and I will answer them. So. Not any questions, there are limits, like private matters and that sort of thing, but you know what I mean, regarding working with goddesses. So, I will see you in my next video. Walk in beauty, I walk with A. Xingling!